Hey, what's up? This is Bo Collins, Clemson wide receiver.
Hey everyone, it's Aaliyah Longoleo, shortstop on the Clemson softball team.
And this is the 100th episode of the Man with a Plan podcast.
Whoever is listening, welcome back. My name is Grayson Mann, if you don't know already, and this is the Man with a Plan podcast, episode 100. 100 episodes. It may seem like a small number, but it's honestly insane that almost 2 years ago, actually 2 years ago, if you count all of the stuff in the spring and that first episode, which we'll talk about actually in a second, and get into all how we're going to do this 100th episode, which is crazy. But just to start off, I want to thank each and every single one of you for just sticking with me along this journey. Almost 10,000 listeners, nearly 200 subscribers on YouTube, 49 states across the United States of America, and over 11 countries on planet Earth. It's crazy to think about how far this show has come, how far I've come, how much I've grown as a person, and just through this podcast. It's thanks to you guys. Anything that has been done here and what's coming in the future is thanks to y'all for supporting me. It's crazy. I never intended the show to last 100 episodes. Originally, I was just starting it as a passion project, a little bit of a see if I can do this. I was bored during quarantine, and my dad gave me my first microphone, which you can see in the back. Had no idea how to use it, had no idea what the systems and the sounds were. And he said, you know what, just go for it. You have a dream, you have a talent, go for it. I'll never forget that. Coming home from Clemson after a couple days of hiatus from everybody with my sister, Reed, and my mom, and he just surprised me. And I have a picture of that little setup. I'm actually going to try to find it, and I'm going to post it right here. And we're going to have, it's just going to pop up real quick on the screen. But that started it all. And I was like, man, podcast. And I was not even a podcast at first. It was more YouTube channel type thing. And it just kind of spiraled from there. April 21st of 2020, I believe, is the post date of that first episode. How we're going to kind of structure this 100th episode is going to be within three little segments. We're going to talk about the beginning of the show, which we're doing right now. You're going to see clips from the beginning of the show, relive the cringe with me. You're going to see me in the attic, and then we're going to go to our super fan series, highlight those, and then we're going to highlight every single interview that we've done on this podcast, from Tigers Talk Rugby to Tyler Hardig, and thank some people along the way. It's going to be fun. But back to the beginning of the show, where actually was recorded right here, and you just kind of do a quick 180, which is crazy to think about how I kind of haven't really moved spots in the last 2 years. I was so over my head. It was crazy to think about. And I hope this 100th episode is more or less not me just talking about myself the entire time, because I really do want to thank y'all. And my first big person that I want to thank is Wesley Chapman, my first ever subscriber, my first real fan, if you want to call it. I don't think of my friends as fans, but he has been probably my biggest supporter since day one. Even when it was just 15 subscribers, he's like, when's that 100 subscriber special coming? When's this special coming? So excited for him. Wesley, you're doing great things at the Citadel, buddy, and thank you for believing in me since day one. A couple other people that have believed in this show since day one and pretty much catapulted me to where this show is today, and a bunch of other things, which we'll get into. I want to thank Zainab Abu Hakima, my brother McGregor Mann, Mitchell Bushup, who, by the way, has not missed a single post 100 episodes through, and I guarantee you, I'm recording this Sunday night. Tomorrow morning he'll have a Snapchat post ready to go. So Mitchell, if you're watching, I know you are, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're going to get into a bunch of other people too, but I really want to show you guys 2 years ago, me completely over my head in this exact room. I was like, okay, we got this. Let's go. Here are those clips. Let's go. All right. It is a great Wednesday afternoon, and I am your man with
whoever is listening, however you are listening. I hope you are having a fantastic day. And this is your MWP, otherwise known as your Man with a Plan.
Oh, I have to re-listen to those two with you guys, those first two episodes. So the first episode was filmed in April, and I was like, oh, I'm going to kill this. I made a whole script. I drafted everything. I was so nervous. I was so stumbly with everything. And it just kind of progressed like it did. And you can find it. It's actually one of my more popular videos on the channel. And then I did a second episode in December of 2020 because I was discouraged and I needed a new avenue. I said, you know what, let's bring this back, but let's actually switch it up. let's make it a podcast, because I think I brought the intro music and all that, which you probably have seen in this clip. But I did realize, and my parents quickly told me, I need a new space. And so you're about to see in this little clip right here, I was in the attic. Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Cincinnati Bengals last night, 27-17. Pittsburgh had absolutely no business playing around with a Cincinnati team that's without Joe Burrow, without a lot of their starters. I was really enjoying myself. Like, the whole process was great. I froze a little bit, but going into my own secluded space, it was like a studio. It was like my own little place where I could do my podcasts. I knew I had the itch for this passion, which we're doing today, is when I recorded my 6th episode of the podcast. We had just came back from vacation at Disney, and every single day I was writing notes, trying to find a story, going, man, I cannot wait to do this. It's not really the show that was taking off or anything, or doing something huge, but I was starting to love it. I got the itch. I was like really excited to get back and record stuff like that. And it just stuck with me. And as things kind of progressed, I stuck in the attic. We had to go back to school. I was thinking of different ways we could kind of evolve the show and take it to new heights. And my mom found an interesting story about Gene Avery. There's actually a fun story. Huge Buffalo Bills fan. You can see the Patriots hat that kind of finds an interesting way to be. But at football games, and this is kind of how it progressed, I loved sitting at the end of those seats. You have all these, you get like a package of seats where there's like 5 of us, and they'd always put me at the end. And no matter who sat next to me, I'd talk to. I didn't care if it was the opposing team. I didn't care if they were 50 years older than me. I had to be their friend. I had to just talk to them. I've met so many great people, and I thought, how can I translate that into the show? And that's what became the Superfan series, meeting so many people like Bob Murrow, talking about guys like Warren Nelson, talking about guys like Gene Avery, Lynn Vietri, who's actually been one of the show's biggest supporters, and she came on the show twice to talk about Georgia football. Andrew Street, who won a contest, my first ever contest on the show, was a March Madness bracket that he won. He was able to come on and do that. So these clips honor those super fans, including some of my own friends. This is about Gene Avery. Our Gene Avery Superfan of the Week is by the name of Warren Nelson. His name is Bob Murrow. Lynn Vietri is the Georgia Superfan. The Superfan series, it is returning. It is back. Today, I bring in the 2 Superfans that I know, Cowboys. Now, I understand Cowboys. You hear that and you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? These guys are great. Close friends of mine, close friends of the show. Addison Vinatelli, who's a student at Clemson University, and Nick Reed, who isn't pictured but is still here in spirit, a student at South Carolina State, along with his smoke detector, joining us to bring in their opinions as well. And so Addison, Nick, Lynn, Bob, if you're watching, Bob Murrow, big Iowa Hawkeyes fan, if you're listening right now, thank you. I really appreciate you coming and sharing your stories. And I think I want to kind of bring that back, do some research, and really honor those fans. Those were the first people that I ever got to meet and really talk to. I mean, talking to a guy from Iowa for a podcast was a crazy idea to me probably 3 years ago, but it seemed completely normal to me at the time. And being able to meet guys like Andrew Street, who my mom went to high school with, or Lynn Vietri, who's a close family friend, being able to get to know her fandom more, what Georgia fans loved, and they won the championship. I think the year that we made that 2nd episode, it was right before Georgia Clemson, and it was crazy how things kind of progressed from then. But if you guys want to see a Superfan series back, and this is intended to be short, I don't want this to be 25 minutes of just like, and just because it's going to get stale at some point, I would assume. But I just want to talk about where we've gone, how things have progressed. But so here we go, the big time. So this is going to probably be the beefiest clips of the segment, but the interviews. I cannot believe that if you had told 15-year-old me that I'd be able to interview football starters for the Clemson football team, guys that won MVPs, guys that were 5 stars in high school, number 1 players in the nation, I would have said, you're crazy. That's probably something my brother would do, just because, McGregor, you've always been uniquely not shy about talking to Clemson football players. That was like something that we always could count on. And I guess things just kind of unraveled in the way they did. But this is the interviews, all from Tigers Talk Rugby to Tyler Hardig, featuring them all, and we'll talk about them real quick. Here are those clips. Tigers Talk Rugby. Adam Hawk, welcome to the show. Coach, welcome to the podcast.
The Down and Out Sports Podcast.
Chad Smith, welcome to the show.
Coach Miller, welcome to the show.
Guys, today I am not alone. I am joined by a special guest, Niles Pickney. Today I'm joined by JEM Live. Jackson Malone, mostly known as a film analyst on YouTube, has over 4,000 subscribers and over 600,000 views. Today, guys, I'm joined Patrick Neal. He is the co-host of Cover 2, presented by Tiger Vision. Some fan questions about this wild weekend. And joining me for this particular segment is yet again a friend of the show, friend of mine, JEM Live Jackson. The special interview for you guys today. Joining us is one of the Collins Hill assistant coaches, state champion for Collins Hill. This is Coach Chip Holloway. He's a Patriots beat writer for the Boston Herald. It is Andrew Callahan. Andrew, welcome to the show. And what a better way to celebrate than having on two special guests. First off, we have Bo Collins. It's Bo time, a standout Clemson wide receiver, ready to make his sophomore campaign a really big and special one. And we are also joined by his father, DeAndre Collins. Today, guys, I'm joined by Clemson linebacker Barrett Carter. He was recruited as the #1 linebacker in the nation, and he's ready to go on a tear in his sophomore campaign. But special guest, good friend of mine, someone I went to high school with. So you guys, the connections are insane. Jalen Slauson hails from Somerville, South Carolina, and is a forward for the Furman Paladins men's basketball team. Joining us today is Marcus Tate, Clemson offensive lineman hailing from Sunrise, Florida. One of the only three guys, true freshman offensive linemen to start their first game. I have another special guest joining us. His name's Brevin Galloway. He is a Clemson guard basketball transfer. He's coming back home to Anderson, to Clemson, South Carolina, ready to make an impact. Today, I have a real treat for y'all. Joining me today is Ricky Sapp. I'm really excited for today. I'm bringing in the generation of the sports talent, of the sports industry, and Tyler Hardig. And it's crazy. I want to just kind of cover a couple of them and want to thank Bo Collins. I want to thank Chad Smith. I want to thank Brevin Galloway, Marcus Tate, Ricky Sapp. I'm going to probably forget somebody because there's just Niles Pickney. There's my other one. Tyler Hardig, who came on from Sports Talk with Tyler, being able to kind of build up his channel and what he's doing at such a young age, being able to talk to guys like Marcus Tate, who are anchoring the offensive line, Ricky Sapp, who's doing great things within the community, getting to showcase that on here was so special to me. And being able to overcome those kind of nerves was absolutely insane for me. Adam Hawk, my first big time guest, who taught me so many things about the sports industry and still will reach out to me and say, hey, this is what you're doing. Excuse the dog in the background if you heard that, but doing so many helpful things for me and just being such a, maybe, I don't want to say a pillar, but someone that like a mentor. And hopefully one day, if I'm in a position like his, I can help the next generation. Adam, thank you so much for being what I always felt like my first celebrity guest. You were fantastic. Chad Smith, if you're watching, buddy, you were my first football player. You're my first big time football guest. I remember before I was recording, I was so insanely nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, Clemson football, this is an avenue that I've never crossed before. And it did so well. And I was able to actually meet you in person. What you're doing as a GA is awesome, man. Keep that up. To Bo, Barrett, and Marcus, you guys have been not just football guests, but friends to me. You guys always feel like I always feel like I can reach out to you guys if I have any questions or just want to talk some football. You guys are awesome. I always appreciate your energy, enthusiasm. Bo, thank you for the video at the beginning of this. You and Aaliyah, I think did such a great job. Hopefully, I'm so sorry if I botched the pronunciation. It's just so excited. It's great. You guys should definitely check her out and what Clemson softball is doing. They're nasty. I definitely want to emphasize that video beforehand. Thank you so much for doing that. It was awesome. And it's just great. I really appreciate that stuff. Those interviews just did so well for the channel, and they kind of marked a staple of what we do up here. We do stories, we do super fans, we do interviews, we do so much of that and more. A couple more people that I really want to thank before we get into that. My main friend group of Gracie Hendricks, Nick, Zainab. Every time I sent something in there, Cannon, you guys always reposted it. You always did so many great things with it. Thank you so much for just being the support group that I needed. I remember 2 years ago, we were at Kickin' Chicken with a larger friend group, and a lot of people were like, man with a plan? That a joke? And I mean, yeah, it's a corny podcast name, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. It was something fantastic to be able to do and what we've been able to continue to do during the summer. I just repeated myself, so that still hasn't changed. But also, I want to thank Gary McDaniel at ClemsonSportsNews.com for also believing me and finding me and giving me a chance to live my dreams. You guys can actually find some clips from me on ESPN, which is crazy. And you know what? I'm going to put them in right here. Hey KJ, Grayson Mann, ClemsonSportsNews.com. I just want to talk to what were the factors that led to your decision to return to Clemson, and what do you think that decision that speaks on what the Clemson culture means to you and the team as a whole?
Yeah, for my
He'll stand once the mic gets there.
Hey Jordan, Grayson, Clemson Sports News. You were one of the four deep linemen on either side of the ball to start all 13 games for the Tigers. What did it mean for you to find that personal consistency within the lineup?
Yeah, I know it's definitely a tough year with injuries and everything like that.
It's crazy. And Charlotte, getting to go up there for ACC kickoff, be a credentialed member of the ACC. Gary, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity. And I want to shout out the Clemson Sports News staff with Neil, who does all the recruiting. I want to thank Cliff. I want to thank Jay. You guys are awesome. If I'm missing anybody, please let me know. But Clemson Sports News, you should check them out. We actually are doing a lot of great stuff there. And the podcast was intended to be that bridge to get that kind of job. But we're not going anywhere. This was episode 100 of the Man with a Plan podcast. I can't believe I'm saying that. Crazy stuff. Thank you to all who have supported my parents, my brother, my friends, and family. Thank you so much for helping me out and putting me in the position of where I am today. I would not be here if I did not thank you personally. Let me have it. I do mean it. I can't thank everybody individually who's helped me along the way, but I really do appreciate it. It has been completely insane. What we've been able to do here is nothing short of amazing. And then we've done that together. I just talking to a microphone. You guys spread the word. You guys spread the enthusiasm about the show. You've made it what it is today. Thank you guys so much. Subscribe if you're new. Leave us a 5-star review to let us know that you enjoy our content, and be on the lookout for the next 100 episodes. My name's Grayson Mann. Thanks for watching, and take care.